So what we're going to talk about today is YouTube hacks, secrets, shortcuts that shouldn't work, but actually do. And we have asked our community about some of the things that they've experimented with and have worked, but also some of the things that we are going to maybe contest and converse with. And I'm here with my fantastic co-host, Dan. Welcome.
Hey,
Are you ready to maybe agree with some dirty YouTube tactics?
yeah, let's steal some videos.
All right. Okay. We're not going to do that one first. The first one we're going to look at is this. And it's from Timo Abbey. And some of these comments came from our Discord group. We have a fantastic community there. So do please join that group. For many conversations, we often have stages, and our amazing community manager there, Victoria, is always asking you YouTube people questions. And there's a link on screen now, but it's probably one in the description as well. At least I hope there is. So Timo Abbey says, you don't have to be good at Photoshop to create good thumbnails. I usually do mine in Premiere Pro or After Effects because I'm more familiar with the effects there, and then I just export the frame. So this is an interesting tactic, Dan, and it almost goes back to the conversation we were just having about YouTube Shorts and picking a frame. When you're editing, if you have like that chef's kiss frame, you just like, was it Control P, Control F, screenshot that, and then use it as your thumbnail. I think that's an interesting little hack, isn't it?
I agree. I think that would frustrate me to no end because I've used Premiere to try and add text or anything, and I hate it. Sometimes I'll go to Photoshop to add text to a video, depending on what exactly it is I'm trying to do and what I want to do with that text. But I mean, that aside, yes, do whatever you feel like is right to get the thumbnail done. I've suggested MS Paint, not because I think you should draw scribbles all over your thumbnail, but because it is a very basic editing software for images, and you can do enough with it. If you take an image of yourself and then you take some things and you put, it doesn't do all the things, but like whatever you need to do, like I think, like we've been talking about thumbnails today, I think custom thumbnails in most cases are better than non-custom thumbnails. Even if you're trying to just enhance the frame of a video to give it a little more saturation or something, and you want it to look like it was just a frame from the video, but you want just a little bit more. Like, try to find a tool that works, that is easy to use. And if it's not easy to use, take some time to watch a tutorial, but don't watch a full beginner's tutorial. Watch a tutorial about the specific thing you're trying to do. That's how I learned. If you watch a beginner's tutorial, you're going to get overwhelmed. Watch a tutorial about the specific action you're trying to take.
I have an addendum piece of advice for this, and I only really learned this myself, I'd say about a year ago. And this is when you're taking perhaps a specific picture for the thumbnail, like whether you're like doing YouTuber face reactions or whatever, or you want multiple shots that are slightly different to think about, A/B thumbnail testing. What I learned is, rather than just taking pictures, still images, and like maybe putting on burst mode or like taking 3 images, I actually just record myself for like 30 seconds doing these different reactions and poses or whatever. And like, again, maybe if you're not recording yourself, but you need a scene, instead of taking a picture of that scene, you actually record it. Because what I tend to find is the actual picture that I take is just not quite right. But maybe when I'm recording, the frame or two afterwards or before, it's like, that's perfect. I just captured the moment there perfectly. And then I screenshot that while I'm watching the video on my monitor. And then I use that as a screenshot. Yeah. So that was something I learned, I'd say about 12 months ago. And since then, I've been able to get much better reactions and looks and more authenticity from the thumbnails.
Mm-hmm.
That one was quite safe and easy. It wasn't that controversial, was it? I think we're playing on safe ground there about just saying you don't have to learn the best Photoshop program or whatever. Although what I will say, Timo, is that After Effects is probably far more complicated than Photoshop, at least in my opinion.
That's what I think. I mean, it's all about what you spend the most time in, but yeah.
But whatever software you use, yeah.
That was like the last one I learned out of all the ones I learned.
All right, let's go to a one which is all about the thumbnail, Dan. And it is like a little bit more nuanced than just stealing videos.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe I'm letting everybody down here, but stealing other video ideas is a lot more effective than trying to, I guess, get your own ideas, create your own ideas. What do we think?
I think I see why someone would say this. I feel like the mindset is just off slightly. Who is it, Ludwig, that says yoink and twist, meaning like you yoink an idea, but then you have to twist it to make it your own.
Yeah.
This is a good strategy, and I think it's a good strategy in the sense that, like, you're gonna learn a lot from it. You're gonna learn about what works and what doesn't. What you wanna do is try and, like, make a video your own as much as possible, and then this is kind of, you could consider it for certain creators YouTube training wheels. Like, I'm relying very heavily on other ideas being successful so I can mimic them and do my own version of them, but eventually, you're gonna want to make your own version of videos. You're gonna want, like, you to be the person who's leading the charge, and it's hard to do that when you don't have your reps in, you know? So, yoink and twist is a strategy. I don't know if you should always do that forever. I think that's gonna eventually hamper your creativity because you're gonna hit a point where you're like, "Don't wanna do that one, don't wanna do that one," and you're spending all your time shopping for video ideas, and you're not actually sitting down and going, "Wait a minute. I've always wanted to try this thing," you know? So, I don't know. I would just be careful about even framing it as stealing other people's ideas. That's why I said a mindset. It's like such a callous way to frame it. I would say you should just, yeah, like, I guess you're taking inspiration from someone's idea, but the closer you are to their idea, the more you are actually just stealing, like, why should I watch your video when I just watch someone do the same thing? I want someone to, like, take something and really, like, contort it in a way that I haven't seen done before. 'Cause, ethics, and also it's more fun to watch videos that are, like, different from one another.
This is a bit of a philosophical question from Nick Heim. If everybody steals ideas, where are the new ones coming from?
Yeah.
I'm sure I've seen a saying or a phrase somewhere that no idea is new now. Like, there was originally seven ways to tell a story, and every story since then is just a retelling of that story in a different way. But don't quote me on that. I'm just remembering from my like millions of podcasts that I've listened to that
like
that's
37 or something. There's actually a number of, like, there's this many ways to tell a story or something. It's very low. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I liked your description of training wheels, Dan. I would say that if you are looking to pluck, I don't know, the claw ideas from other niches, I think that can be really effective. I'm just going to give you a very basic idea here, whereby we saw Mr. Beast started doing the $1 boat versus $100 million boat or whatever. Let's say you're in the cooking niche or you're in the fitness niche. You can take that concept, that idea, and then implant it into your own niche. So it becomes like a $1 pizza versus $100 pizza ingredients, or like $1 gym versus like a $10,000 gym. I think those are ideas that you can take. And I almost don't think you're twisting it there. You are just yoinking it and planting it down in your own genre. But yeah, I guess to start to inject new ideas into it again, I don't think there's anything wrong with taking ideas and inspirations from other creators, but then really adding a unique twist and like enhancing it in some way. It is also a good approach. But again, going back to the topic at large, Dan, I agree that you can't just be relying all the time on other video ideas that are existing on YouTube, because you're going to burn yourself out doing that.
Yeah.
And you're going to leave yourself almost like creatively bankrupt when you have to do something new, because you basically yoinked and twisted all of the ideas that you can find on YouTube.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say on this is, like, imagine how you spend your time. If you spend your time on YouTube trying to find other people's ideas because you need to make a video, what if you had instead spent that time doing something else that had nothing to do with YouTube and taking inspiration from the world around you rather than just YouTube videos? Like, that's why we talk about, like, taking breaks away from making content, because that recharges your creative battery. Well, what is a creative battery? How do you recharge it? You recharge it by just having other experiences, right? Like, so you might be at the store and you might see someone comparing like $1 salsa versus $20 salsa, and you're like, that's like an idea for a video. I could do $1, whatever. Like, that might be how the first person who did that video came up with that idea. They were just out in the world and they noticed something. Did you steal that because you noticed it at a grocery store? No, like you turned that into like content. You gave it such a weird angle that it became this new thing. So you don't always have to get ideas from YouTube. And if you find yourself doing that, you're not probably taking enough time away to like relax and do other things so you can open your mind to new ideas.
I like this quote here from Legacy Trails. Good YouTubers copy. I just want to great YouTubers paste. I just want to add my own take on this. So I'm going to yoink this comment and twist it. So good YouTubers Control V, or is it Command V? Great YouTubers Control Alt V. And if you don't know what that means, it's when when you copy text from a web page and then you try and paste it somewhere, but it keeps all the fonts and styles. In order to get rid of all of this font and styling, but keep the text, I think it's Control Alt V. I can't.
Yeah,
is it Shift or is it Shift? Shift.
No,
I can't
think
remember
Control
now.
Shift. I think it's
Control Shift. Yeah, I'm getting it wrong. Anyway, thanks. That's deep. Voiceless, faceless vidIQ entity talking at me. All right. I don't know if we've settled on that one, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. The final point I would say here is
the way it's laid out is a bad thing.
our friend Jake Thomas, who is very much of the title side of this, like taking titles from other genres and then implanting it into your own niche. He's very much an advocate of like, let's not be original to begin with. Let's see what ideas work on YouTube and try them ourselves. Now, this one is two sides of the same coin, I think, Dan. Willow says, clickbait thumbnails will give you the short-term hits, but authenticity will serve in the best long-term. And Tiger says, clickbait thumbnails, simple as ABC. Although I try to make sure the thumbnails are related to my videos, obviously. So I think one person is advocating for just using clickbaity thumbnails. The other one is saying, in the long term, that's going to damage your channel.
I had a thing I used to say about clickbaiting in thumbnails. Like, I think, what was I trying to say? Like ethical clickbait or something like, okay, you kind of did it with this video. Like you put in the text, steal ideas.
Yeah.
And you made a face that made it seem like you don't even agree with what's on the screen. Like, did we clickbait or were we just trying to add a little bit of drama? I think the word clickbait needs to be used carefully because like when you bait someone to clicking on a thumbnail, what you've done is deceived them. And I think the line can blur when you're talking about a thumbnail like on this very video you're watching. But if you're like, what you don't want to do is straight up lie. It's not clickbait if you deliver. Yes, obviously. Like if you can deliver on the promise, then you didn't bait anybody. You only know it's clickbait once you've clicked on the video and it didn't meet your expectations. So
there is that phrase, isn't it, which is under promise, over deliver.
Yeah.
Which you would love to be able to do in your content, but at the same time, 100% of the people see the thumbnail and the title, and then the click-through rate determines how many people actually watch the video. So that thumbnail and that title has to do something to create the intrigue.
Which means the topic of your video has to do something to create intrigue. If you're finding yourself having to trick people into watching your videos, did you make a good video? I know
legit
that's
bait.
I know that's a question that's difficult to answer. Sometimes you need to post the video to find out if you did well, but I always try and say now, like, you need to try and impress yourself. Don't impress an invisible algorithm. Don't worry about impressing, some person you made up in your head. Can you impress yourself when you come up with a new idea, a new video, a thumbnail, whatever it might be? Can you go, wow, I really blew myself away this time. I learned something new and I applied it to this. Like, challenge yourself to like keep one-upping yourself and try not to compare yourself to like other people. I know I'm going off on a way different rant now, but like that's what I'm like trying to drill into people's heads now.
That's what this stream is for, Dan, to just go off on your own
true
crusade of YouTube wisdom and knowledge. I did find this comment interesting, Jared. So you're saying that maybe the thumbnail that you saw, which encouraged you to click on his thumbnail, hasn't bore out the result you were expecting, but the result you've been given is satisfying. So is that like, as somebody previously said, legit bait in one sense?
If you go back to the comment that this thumbnail was based off of, like, it's kind of about covering the subject kind of early on. Like if you're going to put something in the thumbnail that's promising something, you should deliver on it pretty quick. And we did. We put it up like as the second comment we discussed. And so, did we clickbait anybody. Well, no, we delivered and we explained ourselves. Like, why did we put steal videos in the thumbnail? Because somebody in our Discord suggested you should do that, and then we talked about it in the content. So we've, as long as you feel comfortable, you feel like, no, I delivered on it because this was the point I was trying to make. And there can be irony in thumbnails, there can be humor that you use, and maybe some people don't get the irony, maybe the humor doesn't land with everybody, but that's not your concern. Like, you did your best, you know what I mean?
One of our moderators here, Koi Fish Gaming, thanks for being in here as always. 1 short and 2 community posts a day buys you time to work on your big projects while increasing engagement and subscriber counts. Live streams drastically increase watch time. So I guess the hack and does it work angle here is, because we always talk about this, Dan, like, is the community tab overpowered to the point where people should be using it? And also, live streams, can they help hack your way, I guess, to 4,000 hours of watch time? That's how I interpret this comment, to a certain extent.
This is really cool because there are a lot of folks out there, and a lot of you are probably here, where you feel like, I still want to be posting a lot even though I'm working on a big project. How can I do that? And if you've been wondering, should I make shorts, should I do live streams, like, this particular creator has made that their solution to that problem. Some creators won't post anything. They will go dark until they're ready to post something new, and then suddenly, boom, their channel lights up with a new video. And neither is wrong. It's kind of about your own goals and what you want to achieve. Do you want your channel to seem active while you're working on that big project? This is a solution to that. I just think this is really cool advice. Again, there is no one size fits all advice on YouTube, as nice as that would be. What works for one person won't work for another, and that largely comes down to you and your personality and your day-to-day life. So yeah, I think if this works for Koi Fish, it probably works for other folks as well, and I just think it's a really solid solution.
Yeah, and just going forward a little bit on the community posts, what I'm discovering over the last couple of weeks is trying to just make conversational pieces that are just relatable to your audience seems to work quite well. And in that sense, what we've been doing recently are memes. And all of the memes that we've been doing recently have been outperforming anything else we've been doing on our community tab. This one in particular, I'm calling it the Rob/Drake meme. I've done this a couple of times now, and the meme is flying off the shelves every time I post it. I don't really know what that means. Flying off the shelves as a meme, but there we are. So yeah, when we use, like, we would expect to get 2,000 likes.
I didn't see this one.
We would expect to get 2,000 likes for the typical community post, and all of these are getting like 2,000, almost 3,000 there. This one got 2,500. This one's already up to 4,000, and it's not even 24 hours old. So try and make it light-hearted, casual, like just fun, approachable stuff, like less of a promotion and pushing of content on the community tab, and just dive in there with your audience and have a bit of fun.
So real quick before we move on from that, Traveling with Russell said, and I don't know if we can do this right now, it might take us a minute to pull it up, but like, if we pull up the subscribers from our community post, the proof will be right there. I'm not exactly sure the proof of what. I would say yes, you can earn subs from posts.
Yep.
But that's not really our goal. We are legitimately trying to build a community. Like,
it's discovery.
Yeah, there's a discovery element to it. But like, we want people when they subscribe to our channel or whatever it is, to see us appearing in different ways and relating to them in different ways. We are legitimately trying to build a community with the community tab.
So we're getting 1,000 subs a month. Fine, whatever. Mm-hmm. I think this is what we're more interested in. It's just 3 million more impressions. Considering the amount of work you have to put into a community post versus a full-on video, I would say that's worth it. And the engagement side of things, especially for voting polls as well. Like, we've had hundreds of thousands of engagements, millions of engagements from just voting polls. And they're very easy to set up. Once you've got into a mindset of how you can create interesting community posts in a very short amount of time, that's what we would recommend.
In the future, we will likely cover this in a live stream once it's if YouTube decides to go through with it. But we know of an experiment YouTube is doing with certain channels where they are opening up a community section whereby you can comment on someone else's community tab and you can post photos in their community space. It's like if forums or Discord came to YouTube. They're testing this. You can find it on certain channels on mobile. It's really, really, really interesting. And the channels that do have it are using it very well, and it's very active. So start using your community tab if that sounds interesting to you, because I mean, you can legit build a community, and you'll be surprised at how many people of these channels, subscribers, are like sharing moments and posts and stuff, and really like you are keeping them in there in your little own YouTube ecosystem when you do that, and it's just super powerful.
All right, let's see if this one triggers anybody, or we all just agree. Shorts are a sad vessel to get people to create content for little to no compensation. Even if you do reach the watch time required, you don't need watch time for shorts, it's views. For monetization, the payout is minuscule. New creators ride the dopamine rush of seeing large view counts and reaching quick monetization, but fail to see the long-term unsustainability. And what do we think to this one?
I've seen this cynical take on shorts, and what I think this does, it's a very personal comment. I'm not trying to drag chance here or anything. But what I'll say is this to me feels like shorts don't meet this creator's personal goals.
Yeah.
And therefore they should not do them. But like I ask myself, why do we do shorts? And you might have a different reason in your head, Rob, but for me, the reason feels obvious. We know there are people who watch shorts and really don't spend a lot of time watching long form videos. But they could be YouTube creators themselves, and we could offer them advice as well. So why not? If we have the time to do it and the resources, let's try to be on that platform. I say platform because Shorts treats like the YouTube app like totally differently when you click on the Shorts button, right? It's almost like a different platform built into YouTube. It's your choice if you want to use it. But like this take on Shorts feels this way if your goal is to reach monetization or get certain amount of subscribers or whatever. These are empty subscribers. That, I mean, to them, no, like you are not an empty channel. They subscribed you because they like what you're doing, and you're basically throwing them away by saying these are empty subscribers. Like I watch the McFarlanes whenever they pop up in my Shorts feed. If they made long form videos, I would be none the wiser because I don't look for them to do that.
I can't disagree with you, Dan. This feels like a creator is simply shouting at clouds saying, I don't like change. And change is what brings opportunity and new creativity. It has taken me a long time. I will confess, it's taken me a long time to figure out where I think I, as a Shorts creator, fit into the landscape. And that is, it sounds relatively straightforward. It's taking a lot of the long form search based content and then transitioning it into quick explainers. Yeah. That's where I think I found my niche in the world of Shorts content creation. And it's not going to fit everybody's type of niche. No. Absolutely. But that's where I think I'm in a somewhat of a happy place creating Shorts. Because I've tried doing entertaining Shorts and comedy ones, and they just don't work for me. I don't feel comfortable doing them, and I'm finding it difficult to know how to tell stories and do it in the short form space. But I will probably try again because I like to flex my creative muscles, and Shorts is another outlet for doing that. But I'm doing it at a very casual level. I know that my bread and butter is long form content. And we've also got to look at it from this perspective in that in terms of a platform, vertical short form content is still in its infancy. Like before TikTok, it really wasn't a thing. And how old is TikTok at this point? 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago? Yeah, I mean, Vine was also the precursor to that. But to think where that aspect of video content creation has gone, where it started and where it is now, like people can now legitimately make a serious amount of money from them and have a business. Like you look at Jenny Hoyos as like one of the lead examples of this, who gets billions of views, and she claims that some creators can get 6, 7 figure sponsorships on their short form content. So I think there is a viability there, but there's such a low barrier to entry. I think that's the thing that creators have to contend with, that you can create Shorts very, very quickly within a matter of minutes as opposed to potentially hours or days. And so there's going to be a lot more creators who are experimenting with this type of content. And also it can be consumed much more quickly. So a lot more content can be seen, watched, listened to, which does inflate. As I agree with this, like the dopamine rush of large view counts. That is like, compared to what you're used to, you know, like 1,000 views might be good for a long form video, but that translates into about 10,000, maybe 50,000 views for a short.
It's I think the reason I'm on this soapbox that I'm on is because I almost take offense to comments like this as a viewer of shorts and long form videos. But there are times where I watch shorts, there are times where I watch long form videos. I have shorts creators that I love that I reference all the time. And not because I'm like, oh, look at what this channel is doing because growth hacks. Because I genuinely enjoy their content. Like I laugh when I see them or they say something interesting or whatever. And I don't consider myself an empty subscriber to them. I don't consider myself somebody who isn't to be taken seriously as a viewer because I would be sad if they stopped uploading. Like I legitimately have built like a respect for their content. And if they came out and said, you know, I make a lot of shorts, but those are just empty subs. Those are empty views. They don't even count to me. That's exactly like saying, oh, like, you know, I have 1,000 subscribers, but that's not enough. That's like nothing. Like, oh, so the 1,000 people who hit subscribe at one time or another are nothing. Like, be careful with like how you frame this stuff in your mind, because I know at vidIQ, like we're here talking about YouTube growth, so it's really easy to get really into the numbers and really dive deep into that. But don't forget that like we're still talking about real people who took time to watch the thing that you made, you know. So this is beyond the comment on the screen right now. By the way, this like I'm talking more broadly here, like. Just understand that like people watch this stuff because they enjoy it, not because it's just some empty thing where, oh, I get views from this sometimes, but they don't mean anything. Like, then don't post to shorts. If you don't like making them, don't post to them, but don't vilify people who like posting there. Don't vilify YouTube for making it. They made it because it works and it's a thing that people enjoy. And now it's this platform that rivals TikTok, one of the biggest short form platforms we've ever seen.
So at this point, I should try and do an outro for this part of the video. So let us know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with some of the topics that we've spoken about, and if you have any hacks or anything. Dan, you're interrupting my outro here.
Sorry, someone said someone apologized to me.
If you have any hacks or shortcuts, then do let us know in the comments below.